Good morning. It is Thursday, and normally on Thursday mornings, we have a weekly discussion with Fall River Mayor Paul Coogan. Mayor, how are you this morning? Welcome back.
Thanks, Keith. I'm fine. Hope everything's well with you.
Yeah, it is. Thank you. I want to get first to some news coming out of the City Council this week. With so much uncertainty happening with fiscal 21 city budgets, and it's not just Fall River, it's every community probably in the country that are dealing with some constraints forced by COVID-19 and being unsure in terms of revenue. You submitted to the City Council a 1 month, 1/12th budget, if you will, which would pay expenses through the month of July. And the City Council this week voted to, in effect, I guess, put that off and looking for more information on options for a full budget for the fiscal year. First, your reaction, and how could this impact getting the fiscal year started on the right foot?
It hasn't done anything wrong yet. We go July 1, we'll start it. But we asked for a 1 month budget on the advice of Beacon Hill. We work closely with our delegation and the governor. We had conversations. Their advice is we're going to go to a 1/12. We suggest you do it. As you opened up your question with the unsteadiness and how unsure we are of this economy, we were just trying to see where we'd be in 30 days. The 1/12 we submitted was very lean. We didn't put in a lot of extra stuff, which is exactly what our Senate Ways and Means Chairman Michael Rodrigues advised us to do when we were on a conference call with him. And I thought that would be the prudent thing to do at this time. We all know that it's revenues are up in the air. Receipts for the city are up in the air. And as we open up Government Center and get the city back on its feet, we just wanted to have a little better idea of what exactly we're talking about with numbers. We're also getting additional information from the federal government on some potential CARES Act money that may be eligible for the city for revenue loss. So we're juggling all these balls. And is the exact reason that the state passed that extension, giving communities more time to do their budget reporting. So they passed the extension. The people on Beacon Hill advised us to do a 30-day. We worked on it in the office, and we'll try again going forward.
In the meantime, Mayor, is the city, and I don't know how much you can share right now, again, with all these unknowns, but is the city working on a number of scenarios? If this were to happen, this may have to be the result. I guess that was what a number of the councils were looking for what the options could be when, any potential budget scenario would come up later on when the council has to vote on a full budget.
Right. And that's what we're doing every day, but we're not going to make it public. I've been in these situations when I worked in schools. Every year they would issue you a pink slip, and it turns your family, your life into upheaval. I'm not doing that in Government Center or for the city of Fall River till we know where we stand. I never liked those blanket slips. Oh, you may lose your job. We're not doing that. We're going to look at this strategically and decide the best way to go. Now, if the councilors have any ideas about how to save money, they can bring them forward to us. We met with most of them, and we told them what our thought was to buy the time to the end of July and see what kind of numbers we get out of the state, what kind of numbers we get out of the federal government, and go forward from there. I think we still have $7.3 million in reserves. There are things we can do. We're just not ready to pull the trigger on those things right now.
All right, let's move on now to the latest on COVID-19. The numbers have been very promising here in the city of Fall River. City now seems to be following the trend of the state in terms of the lower number of cases on a daily basis, although we are seeing more fatalities maybe in the past week than we had in others. Is that, again, just a delay in reporting from the state?
Well, you figure anybody that's passing away, they didn't catch the disease the day they're passing away. Some of these people have been hospitalized for a while. Again, it seems to just be targeting our older population. I looked at the numbers yesterday on the people that have passed away. I think they were high 70s, 80s, and 90s. It's a tragedy, no matter how you cut it, with the number of people that we are losing. But the positive numbers seem like they're going in the right direction. The city seems like it's getting back on its feet. So we'll just keep working to make Fall River a safe place to open up.
Speaking of getting back on its feet, Government Center reopened with some restrictions this week. How's that been going?
That's been going very well. We allow people to come in by appointment only right now till we figure out what this is going to look like. We have people in here paying their bills, getting a building permit, getting a marriage license. So we've been functioning. Again, we always were offline or whatever they call it, extended. But I want people face to face in the building when they need to do something, and that's what we've been doing. Of course, we have expanded our ability to collect money through our partnership with Bay Coast Bank, which we do urge people to go there and pay your water, excise, tax bills. But Government Center's open. If you need to come in, we're here.
And I believe tomorrow, libraries will begin its curbside pickup, where people can reserve physical media. They can come by and pick it up at both the main branch and also the South End branch. So that's good news for our library patrons as that develops. I want to talk a little bit about the phase 2 reopening in terms of restaurants. Restaurants can now provide some outdoor seating for patrons. There are some, obviously some guidelines from the state that they have to meet, but there are also, I believe, some local guidelines that also need to be met. Has there been any snafus at all in terms of restaurants that may not have had outside seating in the past, trying to get that permission locally?
We have had restaurants ask for permission locally. We're having a licensing board meeting next week. One of the city councils informed me that the chief executive could make the call on some of those licenses. I'm trying to get some clarification on that. But licenses are already in the hands of places like Prime 19, Mesa, the Cove. So those restaurants are up and running. The ones that are using like a part of a sidewalk or a parking lot, those may take a little longer. I'm hearing that the restaurants indoors may open up within the next few weeks too. So that'll be a step in the right direction. But we'll do whatever we can to assist our restaurants to get them going.
How about the expansion of local recreation? I know that there's a possibility for some leagues to sort of get started recreationally. Is the park department working with some of those organizations to try to get back up and running? And are there any other local restrictions in terms of that?
Well, again, we read I just was on the phone with Greg Sullivan from the Herald News talking about basketball. I had told everybody that I thought we could get the basketball courts up and running by June 8th, and you can, but they have to have supervised non-contact games, and I don't know how to do that. I mean, that's one of the restrictions that are still in place. Basketball hoops can go up, but they got to be supervised. Now, I know full well that if I put the hoops up, everybody's going to be out there shooting, playing games. So I'm going to cautiously go forward on that. As far as the leagues go, I believe the park department is trying to work with leagues to, the need to use a park for baseball or something. Again, though, they don't want any kind of contact. They want social distancing. So it's a challenge. I just read the regs to do anything right now until they loosen up some of those social distancing and mask restrictions, even for outdoor sports.
All right, Mayor, all sounds good as things are slowly getting back to normal. And, it's good that we're leading with non-COVID-19 news, even though sometimes the news stories may not be that pleasant, but it's good that we're shifting our focus to what we would normally be talking this time of year. All right, Mayor, thank you for joining us. We'll talk again next week. Take care.
Okay, Keith, thanks.
And we thank you for joining us as always, as we talk with Mayor Coogan each Thursday at 9:30 here on Facebook and also on Channel 95. I'm Keith Tebow. Thank you for joining us and have a great rest of your Thursday.